Good morning. Welcome to Unity Columbine Spiritual Center, where centered in God, we celebrate a world of harmony, peace, and abundance for all. And we're very happy today to welcome our Minister Emeritus, Scott Schell, to be speaking. There's a little inside joke about that because when I first changed his name tag, I put former minister. He did not like that. Understandably so. So now it's Minister Emeritus, as it should be. And of course, we have our wonderful three gentlemen here, Steve Larson, Josh Larson, and Seth Larson, to give us music. So let's stand for our first joy song.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Deep in my heart, I know that I do believe we shall overcome someday. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand someday. Deep in my heart, I know that I do believe we'll walk hand in hand someday. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace someday. Deep in my heart, I know that I do believe we shall live in peace someday. We are not afraid. We are not afraid. We are not afraid. We are not afraid today. Deep in my heart, I know that I do believe
the reasons we're committed to that overcoming is the children, so that we can give them the best life possible. Come on up, kids, and join us. And Jeannie is back with us. She was away for a bit. Welcome back, Jeannie.
Hi, Columbine. I am excited to be back. It was an amazing time in my little home away from home. But we're ready. We've got a lot of stuff going on here and ready to do we're going to learn today, we're going to start the Unity 12 Powers. We're going to talk about the word power, which has got a lot to it. And then, so we'll be working on that for a while. And we do have a featured family today, so I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic over.
Oh, yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Carissa, and this is Sierra. I'll let Colin introduce himself. And we've been coming for about a year and a half. We were looking for a wonderful community, actually, for my son, who's not here, Kinley. He's at the other church in the mountains, skiing. Yes, his bliss. So anyways, he said we could do this without him. And so we were looking for him, I thought, but really I was looking for myself, for an amazing community. And now I sing in the choir and help out. And I just love Columbine. So thank you. I'll pass it to Sierra.
My name is Sierra.
All right. Sierra's about to turn 10 in a week's time. And Kinley's 12. I'm Colin. My career's been in film and television, and I have a lot of value here. I love the community, especially the men's group, and we're very blessed to be here. Thanks.
Thank you so much. We're blessed that you're here with us too. So, all right. So I think you can bless us out. And Scott, it's great to see you.
We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. We see the Christ you are.
Won't you stand up one more time and sing? Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. 3 little birds pitched by my doorstep, singing sweet songs, melodies pure and true, saying, this is my message to you. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. 3 little birds pitched by my doorstep, singing sweet songs, melodies pure and true, saying, this is my message to you. Singing, don't worry about a thing. Don't you worry about a thing. Oh, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. It's gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry. Oh, don't you worry about a thing. Don't you worry about a thing. Oh, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Everybody together. Singing, don't worry about a thing. Don't you worry about a thing. Oh, every little thing is gonna be alright. It's gonna be alright. Oh, don't worry 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright.
And now we shift into our time of prayer and meditation, and that's where we can drop down in so we can convince ourselves that every little thing's going to be all right. So we start with a little bit of music, and then Christy Coates, one of our prayer chaplains, will lead us in prayer and silent meditation.
As the last of the chords that we've just been hearing and the beautiful words fade, we find ourselves moved into our heart space, in that place where we can access the still, quiet voice of Spirit. Sweet Spirit, we know without a doubt that you are with us. You are in us. You are us. You are love. We are love. You are strength. We are strength. And strong. We have strength. Your presence within us allows us to know that we will be okay, no matter what, because you are with us. Spirit is with us. We are Spirit. And as we allow our spirit to shine, as we allow our faith in Spirit to raise our vibration, we shine in this world as we truly are. Sure, we're human. Sure, we have our little flaws and weaknesses, but at our core, our essence is the all-powerful, all-knowing, all-loving Spirit. We are so grateful for this knowledge because it helps us get through the tough times. It helps us celebrate with even more enthusiasm. It helps us get up in the morning, greet the day with, oh God, what is mine to do today? I'm here. You're here with me. We're together. And now in this prayer, we also hold all the names and situations in the prayer box, in the foyer, and on our prayer list that goes out once a week. We hold them in an embrace of love. And all of our personal prayer lists, the people that we are praying for, are also held in this sacred space in our embrace of love. Because we know that prayer changes things, but most of all, that prayer changes us. Thank you, Spirit. We are so grateful to be here, to have faith, and to be held in this sacred love. And now it's a time in the service we will have a brief period of meditation and quiet, and the music team will lead us out of our meditation.
And follow the sun, which way the wind blows when this day is done. And breathe in the air. Set your intentions. Dream with care. Tomorrow's a new day for everyone. Brand new moon, brand new sun. So follow the sun. Direction of the birds. Direction of love. And breathe in the air. Cherish this moment. Cherish this breath. Tomorrow's a new day for everyone. Brand new moon, brand new sun. When you feel life coming down on you like a heavy weight, when you feel this crazy society added to the strain, take a stroll to the nearest water's edge. Remember your place. Many moons have risen and fallen long before you came. So which way is the wind blowing? What does your heart say? And follow the sun. Which way the wind blows when this day is done. And breathe in the air. Set your intention. Dream with care. Tomorrow's a new day for everyone. was a new day for everyone. Whoa, brand new moon, brand new sun.
Hello. Good to see you all. Lots of familiar faces, lots of new faces, which is always healthy. I grew up in the Midwest, in Iowa in particular. And the Iowa that I grew up in, I'm not sure it's the same now, but at that time, people valued honesty, they valued friendship, they were hardworking, they valued being part of something work-wise, they valued their churches and their church community, family. They valued family. It was the kind of time where you could do a handshake for agreement. You didn't have to get anything down on paper. My dad was in sales. He traveled to visit a lot of banks. And he would come back he'd often be gone for the week. He'd come back on Friday night. Oh, I went to such and such. Those people are salt of the earth. We don't hear that very often anymore, do we? Salt of the earth. What does it mean? I think for us, at least at that time, it meant they were stable citizens, model citizens, right? The kind of person you wanted as your neighbor. The term comes from Jesus, comes out of the Bible. You are the salt of the earth. And it was given in the Sermon on the Mount, which was a sermon that was, even though it's for all of us, but it was particularly intended for the disciples. The disciples had a big job ahead of them, right? If we just kind of touch into the history, we're at a time in the development of human beings where we're making a transition from being hunter-gatherers to living in community. And so the Jewish faith was perfect for the time because consciousness needs to evolve and consciousness needs structure. I mean, even we talk today how important it is to have your spiritual practice, right? To begin to give structure to your development as a spiritual being. And so at that time, there was lots of rules so that you could come together in community in a safe and healthy environment, an environment you could come to trust. But then Jesus comes along, and Jesus gets this very clear message that humanity is ready for another big leap in development. That instead of needing rules and rulers, that there is a spirit within. And that spirit will inform you. It guides you. It is a loving spirit. It is about compassion and love, but not just that. There's clarity in the spirit. There's strength and power. There's value. It's creative. It's new. It's fresh. The world will evolve in beautiful ways, and you uniquely will contribute to that. Have you ever tried to change the direction of a culture, of a people? Just become a minister. What happens is that there's resistance. So if you're trying to gear up 12 guys to change thousands of people, Are you going to say, be a model citizen? I don't think so. It falls kind of short. I think what Jesus was saying, we're going to explore it today, is follow the Christ within. Follow your true nature. And we're going to understand why. We'll start right out with, what is salt? Salt is a powerful spice where a little goes a long way, right? And what does it do when you add salt to your food? It enhances the flavor. It brings often the flavor out with greater depth. It brings enjoyment. Each of us is an expression of spirit, a unique expression. And we have amazing power as spiritual beings. The very mystery of the universe comes through each of us. And that mystery is not limited by the world around us. It is the way through and the way around. It's amazing what happens as we turn within for our guidance, for our strength. I don't like to use really famous people as illustrations, but I was just reading about Mother Teresa, and I loved what I read. So she felt called into ministry, into being a nun, in her teenage years. And most of her family was supportive, but not her older brother. Her older brother's words, if I read it correctly, was, you'll be smashed? Buried. You'll be buried. Thank you. See, Anne read it too. You'll be buried. Now, there's no explanation of that given, but when you're the minister, you get to kind of fill in the blanks. And what occurred to me as I read that was, can you imagine having a little sister who has got some spunk to her, who you can see has capacities and abilities, saying that she is now going to go in to the Catholic Church, which is totally male-dominated. It's changed so much, hasn't it? And while the nuns have influence and they do a very important work, ultimately it is the men that determine what they can and can't do. And so he's concerned for his sister. But when you are in touch with who you are as a spiritual being, nothing can stand in your way. And that's exactly what happens to Mother Teresa, right? Do you know her first assignment was in Calcutta, and that's where she spent her life. And her first assignment, I don't know, again, it's hard to get all the information, but she is basically given an old abandoned warehouse, and she's going to teach out of it. No desk, no chairs, it's just an empty warehouse. She's so creative that she just writes the lessons out on the dirt floor. And it goes from there. At her death, they were in operation. Who knows what didn't make it to her death, but at her death, there were 80, and they used the word well-equipped schools, didn't have to write on the dirt floor, 300 clinics, 70 leprosy clinics, 30 homes for the dying, 30 homes for abandoned children, 40,000 volunteers worldwide. She was not buried. A little salt goes a long way. Who you are as a spiritual being is powerful beyond your imagination and will take you places you never imagined. In those days, salt was used as a preservative. And when you read the narratives on the Bible, the narratives touch into the fact that what's needing to be preserved? The truth. You see, when things are going on in the world, and there's always things going on in the world and in our lives, it's easy to get pulled out into them and to begin to live in conformity with what's going on and lose track of the truth. And that truth can be our personal truth. It can be a greater truth in the moment. But it is what guides us and inspires us. And it's what brings about positive change in the world. So when we turn within, we have a greater opportunity to connect with what's our truth. What's mine right now to do or to say or not to do and not to say. This next one, you're just going to have to ride along with me. They talked about the fact that they use salt to fertilize the soil. I don't recommend it. I think we would go counter to that, although someone at lunch who was more of a chemist than me said, well, and I'm like, okay, maybe. But as I read about it, and there's not much said about it except in the commentaries, but as I read about it, they talked about how they would use a little bit of salt with animal waste, and that was their main fertilizer. So I don't know what salt does to animal waste, but we're just going to roll with it. Because you see, fertilizer, it's what? It sustains the soil. It nourishes the soil. It allows for us to be fed, to be renewed, to be nourished. And that's what Spirit does for us too. Life has a way of just hammering at us. Not all the time, but sometimes it feels like when it's hammering that it's never going to stop hammering, right? One thing that's interesting about Spirit is self-renewing in you. Have you noticed that? You never have to lay down for a nap for Spirit. You lay down for a nap for your body, your humanness. Spirit only gives, never takes. You've maybe had the experience of, walking into a meeting, or many times I've walked in for a meeting with my teacher and I feel exhausted and how am I ever going to get through it? And then we touch on something real, something true. Maybe in that meeting, someone's vulnerable and it speaks to your heart. It awakens the Spirit in you. And the next thing you know, you're wide awake and ready to go. And where did that tiredness go? Because Spirit is life-giving. In fact, when Spirit leaves our body, the body's dead. It is the very nature of life. It's dynamically alive. It's fresh. It's new. It doesn't rehash anything. It's always about responding to the moment in fresh and appropriate and new ways. Did any of you happen to catch the story on Rose Jerome this week? This is a woman, now as I tell you the details, you'll probably start nodding. She died this week at 113. She's considered to be the longest living, in length of years, Holocaust survivor. And as you read about her story, it's so inspiring. This is a woman that was hammered at by life. She never had to live in a concentration camp, but soon after she was married, she was pregnant. Her husband and his father, her father-in-law, were put into a concentration camp, arrested. About a year later, he signed over his company, which was a big company in Germany, and virtually all his wealth to the Nazi Party for freedom. And he and his family were allowed to free. Rose, her husband, and their daughter were able to get a visa to Shanghai. And they thought they were finally free, right? Well, Shanghai was a Japanese territory at that time. And when World War I broke out, they put all the Jews into a ghetto. And Rose and her husband and their daughter were given an unfinished bathroom to live in for 7 years. They were confined to this ghetto. Luckily for them, her mother and sister had made their way to the United States and sent them tickets, some kind of passage to get out. Rose had scraped together $80 over the time, and they left for America with $80. There, she and her husband decide that they should divorce. And she has to support her daughter on her own. She takes up knitting, and she knits for people. And they moved from one room dwelling to another. They never really had their own apartment. They were always furnished. They never had their own furniture. And then a Jewish merchant taught her how to start a knitting business where she started shops that offered knitting supplies and brought people together to knit. And for the first time since they left Germany, she had an apartment of her own with her daughter. The thing that inspired me is when people were asked, "What do you remember about Rose?" They said, time and time again, she said, "Aren't we blessed?" You see, the spirit in you is not limited by what's going on around you. The spirit in you is self-nourishing. It renews you. It strengthens you. It's what allows us to get through times where we tend, when we're caught up in the ego, when we get identified with the ego, where we feel helpless, where we feel, well, I live in Grand Lake now, and I've been amazed at how many people have said to me, "I'm not sleeping well at night, I feel depressed." This is being caught in an outer world orientation. And I'm not saying bury your head, I'm saying far from that. I'm saying that the renewing of our aliveness is something that comes from within. It is the salt of the earth, of which, remember, you are its expression. So you can understand why that seems much more inspiring to me than, "Hey, go out and be a model citizen." That's kind of following the rules, isn't it? And really, what Spirit's inviting you to do is only follow the rule of love. Love and compassion, which sometimes doesn't look so loving and compassionate, right? Like when we have a friend that's an alcoholic and we have to do an intervention, they're not going to think we're being very loving. But we are. We're bringing back depth to life. I think we could bring up the scripture now, Tom. This is the actual scripture. You'll see in a moment why I didn't lead with it, because it's kind of confusing. You are the salt of the earth. But if salt has lost its taste, how can its saltiness be restored? It's no longer good for anything, but is thrown out and trampled underfoot. Luckily, the narratives say something about this, because I was like, I'm not going to use the whole scripture. It turns out that the salt that we get to eat today is highly refined and purified, not in a bad way, it's pure. But in the days of Jesus, almost 2,000 years ago, salt was mined and there was no way to purify it. So it had lots of contaminants, lots of other minerals and stuff in it. Sometimes those minerals would interact with the salt and it actually could lose its saltiness. And when it lost its saltiness, oh, can you leave it up, Tom? I'm sorry. Should have made that clear. When it loses its saltiness, then, you couldn't get the saltiness back. Thank God that's not the way it is with spirit, right? It's true. We see all sorts of people in the world around us living purely from ego. Remember, ego edges God out. Ego is an assurance that we are separate. Ego is an assurance that we need to protect ourselves, to play it safe, to go along. I love that you guys sung about we are not afraid, but ego is afraid. Ego tends to cave in, bring up lots of anxiety in us. And what Jesus, I think, is saying here is if you're going to live from that, you're really not bringing any contribution of good to the world, no lasting contribution of good. Oh, it can look like you are, but when you lay down to die, there could be a lot of regret. Didn't really do what my heart called me to do. And so while that salt that was contaminated with other minerals and maybe dirt and stuff cannot regain its saltiness, the beauty is you just take a couple of deep breaths and you're on your way back to the depth of what you are. A beautiful, salty, spiritual being. I've said so many times, my God, how can the world get any more challenging than it is today? And it does. Really, it does. I mean, we're seeing it all over the place. Wars that have gone on much longer than we thought. Genocide. We've got chaos in this country. One of the beautiful things, though, about the world doing what the world does is it invites us to move to greater depth, the depth within. And what you find as you continue to do your spiritual practice is that all of this disruption is at the surface. And as you move deeper and deeper into your nature as a spiritual being, into your very soul, it's still and quiet and peaceful. There's lots of space for the guidance that's needed for you particularly, your individual guidance. So maybe you're not going to go out and be, quote, a Mother Teresa at the big scale of things, but in your own life, you will have impact, loving impact, strong impact, generous impact, kind impact, informed, perfectly attuned impact. And it comes so naturally, it's like a flow. When instead that we just live from our ego, we don't have that impact. And so it seemed, I know for me, I'm not one of those people that puts up affirmations. I don't want to be caught in my head. But on my bathroom mirror, it says, "You are the salt of the earth." And maybe all be reminded that we are the salt of the earth, and to know that you can't just walk out of here and just magically be the salt of the earth. We need to be committed to our spiritual practice. We need to develop that capacity to come back to the quiet when the world really comes hammering down on us. When we do, the next scripture is about you are the light of the world. Just by walking around as the salt that you are, you'll impact the world. God bless you.
Thanks, Scott. It's good to see you. I think we played on one of your very last times you spoke here. I think we had the great honor of playing you out. And so it's nice to play you back in. How many verses in the universe? 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 I walked down around the corner with my friends to my favorite bar. When I ran into a preacher and he asked me, "Do you know who you are?" I told him my name. He smiled with a look in his eyes and said, "I'm gonna ask another question, but the answer may be a surprise. How many verses in the universe?" I didn't know. How many verses in the universe? 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 Well, do you get me? The preacher man said, and I smiled and nodded my head. The life you are living, the name you are given, is consciousness of universe manifested in you and me and everything under the stars. We are a part of it all, and all is a part of us. How many verses in the universe? And how many verses in the universe? How many verses in the universe? How many verses in the universe? Whoa, whoa. How many verses in the universe? One people, one love, one world, one sky up above, one people, one song, one voice when we all sing along. Oh. Brado, brado, brado. We're one people, one love, one world, one sky up above, one people, one song, one voice when we all sing along. How many verses in the universe? Whoa, 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 whoa. How many verses in the universe? How many verses? Thank you.
Didn't know we were going to get homework. Have to figure out how many verses are in the universe. Thank you so much, Seth, Josh, and Steve, for adding so much to our service today. Let's say together our purpose statement. We commit to increasing our spiritual awareness, diversifying our community, manifesting our highest potential, and positively impacting the world. And you impact the world in so many ways. At this particular point in our service, we invite you to impact Columbine financially so that we can continue to grow and thrive and also reach outside of this property and these buildings. So please say together with me our offering blessing. God's love has always met and will always meet all my needs. I give freely, I receive abundantly, and I am grateful. And as the offering bags go through the sanctuary, I want to also remind you that it's very helpful if you choose regular giving online. That allows us just with the cash flow to be a little bit more confident about the numbers. But no matter what, as the offering bag passes you, you're invited to either share something or bless what's in there, what you know you may have sent through the universe. And now let's turn and wave to our online viewers. Let them know that they are part of this community. We're so grateful that when you're not feeling well or the weather is terrible or something, or you're out of town, that you can still be here with us. And if you're here for the first time or the first time in a long time, welcome. And we will be in Foss Hall for fellowship afterwards, so please join us there. And then shortly after that, I'm going to be hosting a meeting for people who would like to learn more about our ambassador program, which we're reviving. So this, in short, is one person for each service each week is designated as an ambassador to help greet people and answer questions in particular. We do have our greeters, of course, at the door of the sanctuary, but this would be in the foyer in Foss Hall to get a little more deep with questions. So 12:30 today, the conference room. Please join me and others if you'd like information. If you can't stay for that and you want a recap, let me know. And First Friday this week promises to be a really interesting and amazing event. So we have the opportunity for the Mosaic organization to bring to us, a breaking of the fast of Ramadan. Now, one thing that's really important about this, two things. One is that it's starting earlier than our usual First Friday events because it is a meal. And the other is that because it's a meal, you have to register in advance. We can't take walk-ins. Mosaic is providing the main courses for us, and then each person who attends is asked to bring a potluck item. So details are in your weekly email update, and also I will briefly be in Foss Hall. If you do want to sign up, I can help you with that. And then Pat would like us to know that the Lenten booklets have arrived and are in the bookstore. So if you like to follow along with the Daily Word version for each day of Lent, please check that out in the bookstore. The Men's Soul Adventure is coming up, a men's retreat, and Augustus is with us by video to tell us what to expect.
Hey everyone, it's Augustus Piazza here. I know I'm usually up in a booth watching from the balcony, but today I'm putting on my organizer hat, and I want to take a quick minute to invite all the men here and the ones online to something really special. So we're just about a month away from the Men's Soul Adventures Retreat, and it's happening right here at Columbine Unity Spiritual Center. Now, I know the word retreat might make you think of a bunch of dudes sitting in a circle singing Kumbaya, but trust me, this is different. This is a chance to step away from the daily grind and have some real conversations and take a breather from everyday life. So, what are we going to be doing during this retreat? We're going to dive into what it actually means to be a man today. We'll also go on a soul adventure hike. Don't worry, nothing extreme. We'll just be hiking around the farm next door. and we'll have some deep but not heavy conversations. Most importantly, we'll be exploring how to build friendships and support systems. So there's no pressure, no judgment, just a group of good guys getting real about life. So, who's the facilitator? His name is Sean Harvey. Sean is the founder of Warrior Compassion Institute and has worked with men groups all over the world. He's also an award-winning coach, and his book, Warrior Compassion, became a top new release. But what's most important is he creates a space where guys can be open, reflect, and feel so much lighter and stronger and more connected. Our previous retreats have been amazing, but this one we want to have as much diversity as possible. Young dads, old men, young men, anyone who's trying to figure things out. And you don't have to come at it alone. Bring a friend. I'll be honest, my first time attending a retreat, I was so nervous. I didn't know what to expect, but it had such an impact on my life. It gave me a sense of connection and clarity that I didn't even realize I needed. So here's the deal. The retreat's happening March 28th and 29th. It starts Friday the 28th at 6 and runs through the 28th at 4 p.m. $95 to attend. Lunch is included on Saturday. So if you're ready to sign up, head over to Foss Hall or sign up on ColumbineUnity.org. Trust me, this will be an amazing experience, and I hope to see you there. All right, guys, have a great day.
And actually, it starts on the 28th and ends on the 29th, and it's not a sleepover. So they actually talked about that. And then the last thing is we will order Easter tulips again. For those of you who aren't familiar with that, you're invited to purchase in advance Easter tulips that are potted, and then we use them around the platform, around the choir and everything for our Easter services. And then at the end of the service that you attend, you come and pick the tulips, the number that you ordered, and take them home. So there is a deadline for that, 2 weeks from today, so that we can make sure that we order them and get them in time. Again, you can do that online. Okay, who are our prayer chaplains for today? All right. Judy and Sue, thank you so much for being here for that. And as usual, they are here to help you carry things that are heavy and also to help you celebrate. So please speak with them if you feel called to do that today. And again, thank you to Scott for being here with us. I think you stored up a lot of hugs today, and there's probably more to come. And thank you also to our gentleman Larsons for being here with us. So let's stand for our closing song and our prayer for protection.
Let there be peace